those y'all that are waiting, we're gonna be, says up there, we're gonna be solving absolute value equations, so we're gonna do some on the board and some on our papers, so those of us that are waiting need to be getting ready for that. Y'all keep working, y'all are fine.
Which one would work with that equation? Because the bottom one is bigger. It's 2 less than 3 times. So 2 less. 37. I would think. So think of like that, almost like times 2. So actually, we can like sit down and do them like there. Like you don't have to be doing this.
Well, I don't wanna make you stop, cause y'all are, I mean, y'all are thinking.
I don't think that's right.
So 3x minus 2 is one of your sides, that's one of your legs.
Yep.
So that doesn't equal 45. All 3 of the sides added together equals 45. So 3x minus 2 plus what? What do you have to add? So I gotta add this side plus this side plus this side to equal 45.
So 3x minus 2.
Okay?
That's one side.
Mm-hmm. And what do we know about an isosceles triangle? What do these little tick marks mean?
They're equal.
They're the same, so you got another 3x minus 2.
So like 2.
Mm-hmm. And then you got what we based it off of, the base, the x.
That one. Oh my gosh.
Where did you put your x at?
minus 2 times 2
Okay.
equals 45.
Well, that's just these two sides. You gotta add the third side. So
Oh.
somewhere in there, stick another plus X. Don't put it in that parentheses though, it's a third side by itself.
So, yeah, plus X.
And set that equal to 45, yes.
Okay.
Okay, so,
Really, or the first time?
well, that's the base, so what are the other legs?
Okay, so the base. No, less than 3 times. Okay, so
Yes, you're not supposed to do.
so 3 times 7, which is 21. That would be 19.
Good job.
We really
Alright.
had so on the first time too.
Yeah.
I don't.
Okay, good job on getting that. So I drew the little triangle for you. Y'all listen. Shh. Remember, we had to remember first off that an isosceles triangle means two sides are the same. So that's what my little tick marks on the side of those triangles mean. Then it said, it gave you an expression written out in words, and we did one of those on Friday where I just read it to you. So I wanted to let you look at one and have to write your own expression today. 2 less than 3 times its base. So you can name the base of the triangle any letter you wanted to. 2 less than, oops, where my number go? 3 times that. So once you came up with that expression, then, you know, the perimeter of a triangle is add up all the sides. So both of y'all knew that if this one was 3x minus 2, this one had to be 3x minus 2, and so you just doubled it. Some people might write the 3x minus 2 twice. Either one of those is fine, and then don't forget to add your base on there. And so then it just became your regular equation, and you solved it and got 7, so you knew your base was 7. Plugged it back in there and found that each of these legs was 19. So great job. Okay, everybody all right on that? Pretty good there, Mr. Rod? All right, let me clear that off for next period, and we're going to do some absolute value equations. Woohoo! All right, we've talked a little bit about absolute value. What do you know about absolute value? Tell me.
It's the distance from 0 and 1.
Very good. It's the distance from 0 to the number line. And how is distance always measured? Positive. That looks like a snake.
Colton Gunner, please come to the high school office. Colton Gunner, please come to the high school office.
There's an old 80s movie, Ferris Bueller's Day Off. Y'all ever seen that? Cracks me up because, I mean, it's old 80s, so you probably had never seen it. But this kid is a high school student in Chicago. So he talks to his best friend one day and is skipping school, and they just go all around Chicago and do all the cool Chicago things. But the kid's friend's dad has a vintage Ferrari, and he keeps it in like this big glass room. It's this baby, he pampers it and everything. And so Ferris decides they're going to take the friend's dad's Ferrari on the trip. So they're driving it all around Chicago, and they've done pretty good with it. Nothing major has happened. But they start to get back home, and the friend's like, dude, my dad knows exactly how many miles are on the car. He's like, oh, we'll just take them off. So Ferris had the bright idea. They put it back in the big glass room and everything and jacked it up so the back tires were up and just put it in reverse. He thought he was reversing the miles off the car. That doesn't work. Even if you're going backwards, you're still going somewhere. Okay, and the movie ends, they end up messing up and the car falls off the jack, it sails out of the glass and crashes in a ravine. It's bad news. Just in case anybody ever wants to watch Ferris Bueller's Day Off. Alright, so absolute value, distance on a number line, distance is always positive, so let's start off with the basic equation. Remember those bars say absolute value. So I got the absolute value of x minus 9 equals 5. Okay, nope, not that part. So here's what we gotta do. Anytime we have absolute value equation, you're gonna write 2 equations out of it. Okay, because we know that x minus 9 equals 5. And we also could go the other way on the number line. So we're going to keep everything in the bars the same and make everything on the other side the opposite. So when you have an absolute value equation, you have to make it 2 equations because you can go left or right on the number line like Kira said a while ago. Okay? So now those are both just one step to solve. This tells you that x can be 14. 4. Now,
Which one's right?
say what, sister?
Which one's right?
Both. Well, kind of. Now, to what Kinley's talking about, we have to check them because there's a big $20 math word that starts with an E that one of these could be. What's it called? Do you remember from Algebra 1? When you do all the math work, you get an answer, but you plug it back in and it doesn't work. It's a big one, starts with an E.
What does it end with?
S. I had to think about that. Never had anybody ask me that before.
Third letter?
Extraneous. It's called an extraneous solution. So we're going to plug 14 in real quick and check. 14 minus 9 is 5. The absolute value of 5 is 5. So everybody agree 14 is good. Okay, let's plug 4 in. 4 minus 9 is negative 5. What's the absolute value of negative 5? 5. So that one checks. So when Kinley said which one is right, on this case, they both are.
So which one would we do?
Both. You got to put both.
Always?
Uh-huh. We're going to have stuff in this class where we get 3 or 4 or 5 answers. Craziness, huh? Yes, Riley.
So do you have to like grade it out, or can you just I feel like if you just do like negative 9 plus like or like because negative 9 it's a negative number positive, but absolute is 9 and you use minus a 5. It's 5.
I'm not following you, Riley. I don't know what. Nice try, but I'm just not following you. Alright, so let's look at another one real quick. We're going to do a few of these and I'll have you try a few on your boards. I got 3. I want to show you this one equals absolute value of 2x plus 7. Okay, wanted to show you this one just because they flip the sides on you, but you're still not going to do anything different. So we're still going to write 2 equations because it's absolute value, which means we could be to the left or the right. So I'm going to drop the bars and write everything just like it is. So there's equation number 1. Now this time, when I get equation number 2, remember you keep everything in the bars like it is. You make the stuff on the other side the opposite. So it's the 3 that would make the opposite, right? So negative 3 equals 2x plus 7. And now both of these have got 2 steps. So what's my first step going to be?
Minus the 7.
Yep. 3 minus 7 is negative 4. Last step here. Yep.
Equals negative 2.
Alrighty. Over here, same steps, right? Subtract the 7. Just going to have a different answer here. Negative 3 minus 7 is negative 10. Yep, you got it. Okay. Let's double check and make sure both of those work. I think they do, but we're going to have some in a second where they don't. So let's get in the habit of checking them. Plug the negative 2 in where the x is. So 2 times negative 2 is negative 4. Negative 4 plus 7 is 3. Everybody follow that? Okay, negative 5. 2 times negative 5 is negative 10. Negative 10 plus 7 is negative 3. And the absolute value of negative 3 is 3. So circle both of those. We got a 2 for 2 again. Everybody all right? All right. Okay, let's do,
I need to be taking notes of this.
well, you are allowed to use notes on your test and homework if you have them.
Wait, test?
I've told y'all that.
Wait, you can use notes on your test?
Which is why I told you if you take a picture of your board work, you gotta make sure you write it down before the test, because you can't use your phone.
Oh. Oh, I'm finna start taking so much notes.
I like notes.
Me too.
Yeah.
Okay, so this one I'm throwing something new at it. Before I write my 2 new equations, what is different about this one?
Put a number.
Okay, it's got a number outside the bars. And what does it mean when a number is right next to something like that? Good, just like the distributive property kind of thing. But we don't want to do that. what we wanna do is we wanna have nothing but the absolute value stuff over here. So I say in my dumb words, I wanna get rid of extra junk. So this times 3 is extra junk. What gets rid of times 3? Divide. So we're gonna divide both sides by 3. So here the 3's just cancel out. So I've got the absolute value of x plus 8. What's 39 divided by 3?
13.
Yep. Okay. So now what do you do?
Solve.
How? What do I gotta do before I solve?
You already know how this can do that, What you minus, get out Mars.
Okay, so I gotta write 2 equations. And I still have people forgetting that every year. Anytime you got bars, you have to write 2 equations. So there's my first one.
Is this all algebra 1?
We're still reviewing right now. What does my second equation say?
X plus 8 equals -13.
Good job, Kinley. Okay. What do you do to finish that dude out? Y'all already got the answer? What are y'all doing? What do you do to finish it out?
You gotta plug it in.
Well, I mean, look where I am. Y'all hadn't told me where to go now.
Oh, I did on my paper.
You gotta solve them now.
Tell me how.
You subtract 8 on the first one.
There we
You
go.
subtract 8 on both sides and you get x equals 5.
Kid. Okay, what about over here?
You do the same thing,
Good.
but the x is -21.
Okay. Who's checked on both? They both work, Kinley? Alright, so I'm gonna trust Kinley and circle them. Whoa, that wasn't a good circle. Let's try to circle the right thing. There we go.
How do we check them again?
Plug the 5 back in for the x and see if it's true, and then plug the -21, same thing. Good. Alright, let me show you one that's a trick. You ready to see what a trick one might look like? Sure you are, you mathematical geniuses in training. Let's say I got 16 times the absolute value of r minus 5 equals -32. Okay, now, I'm gonna tell you this, stay with me, don't go wild, you're gonna wish you hadn't have. The answer to this is that. Why? Without even doing any work, I know that, why? What kind of number do all absolute values have to be? Oh, that's scary. Put that back up there. All absolute values are what kind of number? Positive. What does this say the absolute value is?
It'll be negative.
Absolute value can't be a negative. You can get a negative solution because when you plug it back in, you take the absolute value of it. But this is saying that this, because even if you got rid of the extra junk, right? -32 divided by 16 is -2. You're still going to have a negative over there. And an absolute value cannot equal a negative. Okay? Now, if you worked it out, you might get an answer, but guess what would happen when you plugged it back in? It wouldn't be true, and so you would eventually get to the no solution. Okie dokie artichoke.
Will it only be no solution if it equals a negative number?
Say that one more time.
Will it only be a no solution if it only equals a negative number?
No, when you check your answers and plug them back in, you might find 2 that don't work, and then it would be a no solution.
I have a
Good question, Karen. Yes, Riley?
Are we going to use roads on any test?
I think last year we got to use them on all of them. I think that's right. That's usually what I do. I know some teachers don't agree with that, Riley, but my opinion is I don't really care if you're a good memorizer. I would rather see you be able to work and use and, you
So
know.
can we use the homework on the
That's what
test?
Miss Davis said.
Oh.
Remember when Miss Davis said that I was like,
Now, some teachers don't agree with us, but.
she spent 15 minutes explaining this little thing. I was like, that's what I need because
Yeah, we could.
I can't remember. I think.
Last year?
She's pretty good.
For what?
Alright, let's look at one that still is different, so I got 3A plus, absolute value of 3A plus 12 over 9 is equal to 0.
Oh, wait, we just, so now?
Okay, so first thing that Kinley's noticed is we got extra junk. It's being divided by 9, so we need to undo that and multiply by 9. So good job, that's gonna give me the absolute value of 3A plus 12 is still equal to 0, right? Because 0 times 9 is 0. Okay, now this is one of those strange situations. I've been telling you on every absolute value equation, you have to write 2 problems. You don't have to write 2 problems this time. Why? Okay, 0 is not negative, right? So you can't make it a negative. So you just are gonna have the one answer here. Solve that. 2-step middle school equation. Y'all are working, so I'm gonna work. Y'all, we'll see if we get the same thing. Okay, did anybody check it? Because if it doesn't work, like Carol was asking a second ago, this could be a no solution. Okay, what does the numerator have to be here to get 0? What? Don't pretend like you don't know my answer. What is the, if I do the work inside these bars, what does it have to end up being if the final answer is supposed to be 0? 0, because you're 0 divided by 9, right? So 3 times negative 4 is negative 12. Negative 12 plus 12 is 0. 0 divided by 9 is 0. So negative 4 is correctamundo. Where did chicken dinner? Alright, now, what if, you're back! What if we put a variable or 2, or just add some extra? Absolute value of 8 minus 2n minus 5n is equal to n plus 2. Okay, so what I've done to you on this one is I've got a variable on both sides, that's new. And also on the left side, I've got extra junk. So don't try to combine that minus 5n in the bars. Remember, we want to get the bars all by itself. And so that minus 5n is extra junk with the bars. So what do we do to get rid of a minus 5n? Add it. So we're going to add it to itself and to its buddy on the other side. So we've got absolute value of 8 minus 2n. That's nothing, he gone. Equals n and 5n is 6n. Good. Okay, so now it looks more complicated than the ones that we've already done, but the rule is the same. We gotta have 2 equations. We get our first one by dropping the bars and keeping everything the same. So our first equation says 8 minus 2n equals 6n plus 2. Now the second equation, I told you, you get it by dropping the bars and making everything on the other side the opposite. So drop your bars, you still got 8 minus 2n, but then you got to make the 6n and the 2 the opposite of what they were. So it'll be negative 6n minus 2. Now I think it might have been Thursday or maybe Friday, I don't remember, when we were solving those equations that had 4 parts. You could pick any of the 4 you wanted to start with. So over here on this one, tell me somewhere what somebody wants to do first. You want to get rid of the 8
Minus
first?
the 2.
The 2 or the 2? So this,
Yeah, that's.
So subtract 2 from itself is what Kinley's gonna do, and it's Buddy on the other side. So 8 minus 2 is 6. Bring down my minus 2 in, equals 6 in. 2 minus 2 is nothing, he gone. Okay, now Kinley doesn't really have a choice of what to do next. Ariana and her talking about, you know, I have our first and second, and this does this.
I'll just keep my phone turned off.
I'm surprised you haven't turned the alarms off.
This is weird.
What we're gonna do, what does Kinley have to do now?
Move the 2 in.
Okay, good, Jalen. And that's probably what I would have done first, so you can see we're still both gonna get the same answer.
You get a fraction.
Yeah, those fractions.
That's what I did do.
Let's just see what it is.
I was like, I can't do this, I was like, I almost was.
Okay, 6 over 8, you can take it 2 out of both of them, 3/4, 0.75.
Yes.
What are you wanting the heck about? What did you do different?
I just don't understand my own self sometimes.
Hold on, how did you get 6 over 8?
I always thought that was wrong, or I tried to
Well,
do
my, right here, let me get my mouse one, there it is. 6 in plus 2 in made 8 in. So then since my n was being times by 8, I divided both sides by 8. Yeah. Okay, so we ready to go to the right, or are you still finishing that one up?
I wouldn't have like, if that was on a paper, I would have tried to redo it because I thought that was wrong. So if we get fractions a lot.
Yeah, yeah. So fractions are good answers, and another one that people will think like that on is 0. A lot of times people get 0 and think it's wrong. Fractions can work, zeros can work. Alright, so on the right side, what do you want to do first? You want to do Kinley's, well, it won't be an add, a subtract 2 this time.
Add 2 in.
Okay. Okay, hey, I'm gonna go with add 6, because that's what I would have done. But Austin, you were right, it could have been add 2 on that. So this will get us 8, negative 2 in plus 6 in is 4 in, equals negative 2.
I need to add 8.
Not add 8, because that'd make 16.
Minus 8.
Yep, so we need,
So you have 4 n equals negative 10.
if I added 8 right here, that 8 plus 8 makes 16. Remember, it's whatever to make it a 0.
Oh, the 8 was negative.
So I got 4 n equals negative 10.
Yeah.
Okay, and I'm gonna keep mine an improper fraction. It'll be negative 5/2. Or that's the same as negative 2.5 or negative 2.5. Hold on, let me try to see if I can figure out where you were. Negative what?
502.
Yeah, you got it.
Negative 5/2 or negative 2.5.
Yep, any of that's good. Good, good, good.
I probably
So 23.
Okay, we need to check, because we might have an extraneous, Austin and Ariana. Austin, you might remember from last year, an extraneous solution is when we do all that good work and we get an answer, but we plug it back in and it doesn't work. Remember those?
Yes.
So let's take our 3/4 and go see if it works. Ooh, these fractions, I'm gonna write on the dry erase board over here by Ariana, because these fractions are gonna make us think. Oh. Dead marker. Love that. I know.
Third time's the charm.
It better be. Don't have enough money to keep buying y'all markers.
So hard to put in. Wait, how do I write an equal sign without writing equals?
Okay, I put 3/4 in for all the ends, right? Okay, so this one would be 8 minus 6/4. And 6/4 is the same as 3/2, which is 1.5. I don't know why I was about to. So what's 8 minus 1.5?
6.5.
Okay, good. And if you can confuzzled on that, think about money. $8 minus $1.50. So that might help you out there. Okay, minus 15/4.
Wait, why isn't it 15/20?
That's like a 5/1, you multiply across the top and across the bottom. Good question. Which is 3.75. What's 650 minus 375?
Do what?
425.
No, I don't
What'd
think
you say,
so.
Coach?
6.5 minus 3.75? I think it's gotta be smaller than that.
2.75.
2.75?
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so now this one's pretty easy, because this is 3/4 is 0.75, so 2 plus 0.75, so that one is the same. Okay, so you can circle your 3/4. Now, I gotta change all these 3/4,
Two.
-5/2.
Mm-hmm.
Alrighty. So this is gonna be a negative times negative is a positive, and those 2's are gonna cancel. You can check me on your calculator, but those 2's will cancel. So I just have 8 plus 5.
Okay.
This is gonna be a negative times a negative, so that's gonna be a positive 10, I start to say 10, that's 5 times 5 is 25 over 2. 25 over 2 is 12.5.
Yep.
So 12.5 plus 13.
25.5.
Okay. Well, 2 plus 2.5 is 4.5. Do those sides equal? So that is not, those don't equal, so that -5/2 is an extraneous solution. So we did all that work to get that -5/2, and it doesn't, whoops, I needed a white, it doesn't work. So the only right answer on that one was the 3/4.
What if we just genuinely do it wrong, and there is a right answer on that one, and we say it's extraneous, we do it wrong?
You would get
I need the following
right.
students to the high school
So what
cafeteria:
I would,
Jaden Blaylock, Kaylin Birchfield, Georgia Guerin, Tanner Harper, Nicole Kesterson, Olivia Moore, Elizabeth Perez, Caroline Perryman, Shelby Russum, Alexis Session, and Gwendolyn Zajac.
that's why I want you to show me your steps as much as you can, so maybe I can say, well, she was really good here, she had an understanding, and give you some partial credit as we go.
Okay.
Because we all, I mean, I'll make mistakes on it too, it happens sometimes. Okay, I want to, give you, 2 to go to your boards to see if you're getting it. So let me get them, or you can go ahead and go, and I'll read them when I get them, it doesn't matter. Where's my marker go? I can't find my marker. Well, nuts. Alright, so let's see here, I got absolute value of x minus 7 is equal to 16. That's it, that's number 1, pretty small and straightforward. Now I've got -9 times the absolute value of c plus 8.
Number 2.
Uh-huh. Equals -99.
Do what?
You are high.
I'm sorry. I don't like breakfast.
What are we doing, 2?
Yep, that's it.
I'm gonna do 2 right there.
Comment? Thank you, sir. Yeah.
That's right.
I'm listening.
Instead of like checking it in this equation, can't you just check it here? It would be the same thing. Or do you have to check it in the top equation? Or the entire equation?
I would say the entire one, only because what if you made a mistake on your new one? You wouldn't know that. Like, some people might have divided by -9 wrong. So if we go back to the top when we haven't messed it up yet, you know what I'm saying?
Okay. Are you supposed to do more than just these two? Oh. I was over here drawing. There's only two on the board. What's there in them?
So it's a big old,
So we're done? Yeah. I'm done. Go figure it right here. For future reference. It's like my resolution to like keep seeing. I might go back to it next year. I still because I prefer those. I keep my hair on. I'm very. It's oversized. It's not real now. Upside down. Upside down. You're funny. You have to go to the stop.
or 11th.
No, it is.
Don't say that.
20 years ago, oh my god.
Okay, let's talk about number 2. Everybody's pretty good on number 1. Let's talk about number 2. Let me write the answers for number 1 so the people, if anybody's following along, can get it. Negative 9 and 23, or 23 and negative 9, either way you want to write that. Oops, not 2 comma, 23. Okay, everybody okay on number 1? Now, number 2 is originally equal to something negative, so that makes you wonder if it can be possible or not. But you've got extra junk to get rid of, right? So when you divide both sides by negative 9, that negative by negative over there now makes that a positive. So it is possible. Okay, so C plus 8 equals 11. C plus 8 equals negative 11. 11 minus 8 is 3. Negative 11 minus 8 is negative 19. Okay? So fix that up if you need to fix it up. Let me tell you a few things and then I'll give you a few free minutes about where we're heading and all that.
Wait, I got a question.
Go ahead.
So there's 2 equations now, right?
Uh-huh.
So all you do on the 81 is keep that one the same and make that one a negative.
So rule is for your first equation, drop the bars and write everything exactly the same. For your second equation, drop the bars, make everything on the other side of the bars the opposite. So if it was negative, make it positive. If it was positive, make it a negative. Fabulous question.
So I got it earlier.
Yes.
Yeah.
And, yeah. Okay, so, remember, I told you we will be try to have a quiz every week, and we didn't have one yet last week. So we're probably gonna have a couple of quizzes this week. So just be making sure you've got, you understand, number 1, and if you need any notes, it's gotta be on paper. You won't be able to use your phone or anything. Also, I changed your homework to these folders back here. People were struggling with the Clippies. So optional homework, there is one for this. And actually, what I've done is there's a 6, so there are 6 lessons in this unit that will have homeworks on them. So you could get all 6 of them now if you wanted to. Today is 4, so this one was 4. So they're all back here. I try to write them real big. All right, everybody good? Make sure before we leave, we put our calculators up. Let me stop video, make you serve.
Where are we going?
Nowhere. I just gave you just a few free minutes.